There was just so much.
You're listening to a Mamamia podcast.
Mamamia acknowledges the traditional owners of the land we have recorded this podcast on, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. We pay our respects to their elders, past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures.
Hello and welcome to Cancelled, the podcast that looks at silly celebrity crimes and assigns charges and sentences to them so we can all move on with our lives. I'm Claire Stevens.
And I'm Jessie Stevens.
And this is Lindsay Lohan part 2. But first, we just needed to share a couple of more lazy girl stories.
One theme that's been coming up that I've noticed in the DMs is regarding people waiting 20, 30 years to get their licence.
I saw one that was like a 2-sentence one. And it's like, just got my licence, I'm 47. Love.
If you want to identify a lazy girl, ask them when they got their licence, because I'll tell you what, it wasn't 18.
No. Jessie, I have one for you.
Then I have one I want to share.
Okay. So, one lazy girl says that she once saw on TV that vacuuming can trigger asthma attacks in asthmatics.
Mm-hmm.
So she held on to this info for a really long time.
Yeah.
She moved in with her now husband. She told him, I'm so sorry, I cannot vacuum because it triggers my asthma. So he's always had to be the designated vacuumer of the house.
Yeah.
They've been together 20 years. They have 2 kids. The kids know mummy can't vacuum.
Yeah.
She doesn't have asthma.
Lazy girl. She's a lazy girl.
I think that is the best piece of advice
Stunning.
for our listeners is there's a fact. I want you to take that fact and run with it.
But what's happened here is that fact doesn't apply to her. So what you need, need is, is like if you have arthritis, you can't garden.
Yes.
So then you just start announcing to everyone, Mummy can't garden, she's got arthritis. Oh, Mum's got arthritis. Goodness, she's 32. Well,
Wow.
she got it early.
Yeah.
Okay, mine was about, I'm going to paraphrase here, a listener who was getting a C-section, right? And they insert the anaesthetic, but she can feel it.
Oh, no.
And she was like, I don't want to make a fuss. She was just too lazy to put her hand up and be like, I can semi-feel
I
that.
don't want to cause chaos.
I don't want to cause chaos.
But I can feel the knife.
Lazy girl. She's a lazy girl. And she said as well that there was like gas on hand.
So she was
and
quite
she was really
relaxed.
enjoying the gas. And she was like, well, if I tell them, they might panic and take the gas off me or something. So she was like, what are you going to do? And she just kept doing that. And she just felt it.
Oh, wow.
Classic lazy girl. But also, and this doesn't always, in the Venn diagram, doesn't always entirely overlap, but it does for us. Lazy girl, avoidance of confrontation. Lazy girls don't want to fight.
No, too much energy. Jessie, on today's episode, Lindsay Lohan, part 2. In part 1, we talked about things such as her bad work ethic, her random accents, her feuds with other celebrities. Please go back and listen to part 1.
Very important.
It's quite a chaotic episode.
Yep.
I'll get ahead of you and say that. But now, part 2, we are discussing Lindsay missing the vibe or mismooding, her trying to kidnap a child, her being rogue on social
really
media.
Not lazy girl. Kidnapping a child is the least lazy girl thing that ever happened.
Actually, committing a crime is not lazy girl because the admin, she
There
was
was
just in court for years.
Yeah, but she wasn't showing up.
Yeah.
And that was lazy girl.
Very true. And then we're talking about her recent Netflix movie, Falling for Christmas. Jessie, missing the vibe. Sometimes at Mamamia, we talk about mismooding, and it's easy to do because sometimes when there's a big story, you don't know what the popular take is yet. So you see an announcement or just massive news story dominating things, and you kind of look around and you're like, is this the take? And sometimes you get it wrong.
So the one that we always talk about, it happened, like 10 years ago at Mamamia, and there was a story of a celebrity who got caught in a DUI situation. And someone was like, I know the story, I'll write about this. There's only surely one take. And she wrote an impassioned defense of we've all been there. And basically said, who among us has not driven drunk?
And everyone was like, oh,
that ain't it.
no.
And she got roundly cancelled. And everyone was like, you shouldn't. I think we discovered there were children in the car. I think we discovered, a bloody pedestrian had been hit. Like all of these things. And she was like, who cast the first stone?
And she put her hand up though and she went, got it wrong. I actually got it wrong. I looked at the vibe. I thought I understood the vibe. Incorrect.
Yeah, we've all been there.
And Lindsay has had a few moments of mismooding. In 2017, Lindsay shares an Instagram story of herself supporting convicted sexual predator Harvey Weinstein.
Could have been it.
Wasn't it? Wasn't it?
She didn't know then, though.
No.
She went, this is going to go one of two ways. Harvey's way or the Me Too way. And she went, I'm just trying to get
And she went,
psychic powers.
powerful white man who's abused women. I think we're on his side.
No, I think this is going to go Harvey Weinstein's way. Yep. Boom. And put her eggs in the wrong basket. It's like a gamble. It's like she took a gamble and it was like, ooh.
But it's a gamble, but it's also missing all the vital pieces of information. So
it's sort of like morally and ethically wrong, but that's not what this is about.
no. So all these women have made allegations of sexual misconduct against him in the New York Times and the New Yorker. And Lindsay films this video saying, I feel really bad for Harvey Weinstein right now. I don't think it's right what's going on. In August 2018, she told British newspaper The Times that women who experienced alleged harassment or assault should make it a real thing by making it a police report. I'm going to hate myself for saying this, but I think by women speaking against these things, it makes them look weak when they are very strong women.
At no point does she even suggest she thinks he's innocent. So what she's done, you don't want to come up with a really blanket take.
No.
Like no one would care if she came out and went, oh, Harvey Weinstein's innocent. No. She said, yeah, I reckon he's guilty. Actually, I still reckon leave him alone. I think you look weak because you're going with a police report. And it's like, whoa.
Weird take. Lindsay.
And we talk about surprise and delight at work. This has surprise, not a lot of delight.
Not a lot of delight.
But surprise.
Actually really upsetting that she did this. So then in a statement to people after that interview with The Times, she did apologise for any hurt and distress caused by her comments.
Really undermines the take.
Yeah. A few months before defending Weinstein, interestingly, she had also urged people to stop bullying Trump on Twitter. She said, this is our president. Stop #bullying him and start trusting him. Thank you personally for supporting #the USA.
I like the use of hashtags because I like the idea that I will go on Twitter and be like, what's trending in #bullying today? And then I find Lindsay Lohan sticking up for Trump.
Her take on Trump.
Again, someone in her PR team has said, you know what you need to be relevant?
A take.
A hot take, like Jamila Jamil.
Yeah, be more like that.
Yeah, be more like her. She's kind of going, thin is in again, this is a problem, blah, 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 like that kind of thing, but find your own thing. And she's like, I've got it. Trump gets a hard time and we've got to go easy on white men. And they're like, not like that.
She praised him and the first family in another tweet while telling a user, as an American, why speak poorly of anyone?
Okay.
Beautiful point. Really well put. There are some big issues here that Lindsay Lohan is not on the pulse with.
If she was in an editorial meeting, it would be that awkward thing where she starts speaking and everyone kind of nods and you've got to go, let's marinate.
Let's put a pin in that.
Let's put a pin in that and revisit it tomorrow.
Or alternatively, ever. That's also an option.
Yeah.
Jessie, trying to steal a child. This was also mismooding. In 2018, Lindsay goes live on Instagram. She is in Moscow and she approaches 2 young boys and 2 adults.
Who let her go to Moscow?
She's a woman of the world. She's traveling all the time.
Okay, she's in Moscow on Instagram.
Correct. So it's nighttime. She sees these 2 little boys, 2 parents with them sitting on a sidewalk under blankets.
To her family.
Yeah. She says they're Syrian refugees in need of help. She turns the camera to the family.
How did she know they were Syrian refugees?
She just tells the camera, so you got to just trust that she knows these things.
Yeah.
She turns the camera to the family and offers one of the children a stay at a hotel where he can watch a movie. And she's speaking in her English as a second language accent. And she's like, on the TV or on a laptop. And I'm like, I don't know if he needs those details. I don't think. Why are you offering to take him?
Tell me your story so I can help you. You want to come with me? Come with me. Come. Do you want to stay in a hotel tonight? To watch a movie on TV? Or a computer?
She then addresses the mother, who initially was smiling because the mother's clearly like, hi, like, yeah, you can talk to my kid. She addresses the mother and criticizes her for not letting the children come home with her.
Come home with
Lindsay
Lohan. I'm sorry, I'm pregnant. all respect to her, but if Lindsay Lohan approaches me in Moscow on Instagram Live, trying to take my child to a hotel room, that's a firm no.
But Jess, there's movies on the TV, also a laptop. So she says you should not have them on the floor. You should be a hard-working woman, and you should be doing what you can for your children.
You shouldn't be sleeping on the floor. But you're a good little boy. And this is not fair. You should be a hard-working woman. I'm freezing right now. And you should be doing what you do for your children so they have a better life. And if someone's offering them a home and a bed, which is me at this moment, give it to them.
So they have a better life.
You were late to Herbie.
You've been late all the time. Like, you being hardworking, like, you haven't worked that hard lately because you've mostly been in jail. No offense.
In and out. She did do that stint in the morgue.
Yeah, that was some hard work. As the family walks away from her, Lohan follows them and accuses them of trafficking their own children. She then grabs one of the boys and the mother appears to hit Lohan in the face.
And they were trying to run to me, and I'm just like so scared.
Is this all on Instagram Live?
Correct. At the end of the video, Lohan looks stunned and she cries because she was only attempting to save the children. And she says, I'm like so in shock right now.
Actually, just to correct that, save the child.
Yeah, she just had a thing for one of them. It was quite strange. Only he was allowed to watch movies. So she says, I'm like so in shock right now. I'm just so scared. And it's like, you attempted to steal
kidnap
a child off the street and you're scared? You're scared?
It's classic. Like, you know, when people talk about white savior. Lindsay Lohan going to Moscow claiming to have found a refugee child that we have no confirmation whether they're a refugee or not, and trying to take him
from his mother
into a hotel. I don't think that's best for him.
And then being hit on the face. That mother is a hero.
She's an absolute hero.
I like that she hit Lindsay in the face. You should never hit, but you can hit
when
someone's...
Lindsay Lohan is taking your child to a hotel room and she owes $40,000 in spray tan.
She's got her own... She has her own issues.
She has her own issues.
She can't be stealing your child.
No.
That was a really weird moment.
Do we know what happened?
She took the video down. So it was on live for enough time for people to be like, I don't want to spread rumours, but I'm fairly certain I just saw Lindsay Lohan try to abduct a child. Because it was live, if you watch the video, you can see it starts and she's in the car and she's like, these are Syrian refugees. And you can see that people are sending like love hearts and smiley faces and all these emojis. And then they're like, stop.
Just a quick note on Syrian refugees, of which we have no confirmation these are those. You can't just because they're refugees, film them without their consent.
Actually, great point.
Like, you can't just find a person on the street and be like, Syrian refugee, camera.
Also, something Lindsay Lohan's been very upset about in the past is being filmed against her consent. Yeah. Jessie, being rogue on social media. You could say attempted child abduction on Instagram was strange social media behaviour. But no, there's more weirdness. In 2012, Hurricane Sandy hit, causing deadly flooding, mudslides and destructive winds from the Caribbean to the east coast of the US. It inflicted nearly $100 billion in damage and killed 233 people across 8 countries. It was like the biggest hurricane to affect the Atlantic. Inarguably a terrible natural disaster. But Lindsay had thoughts. And you might say she mismooded.
Okay, so Lindsay Lohan needed a take on Hurricane Sandy. Remind me the year?
2012.
All right, it's 2012. Lindsay Lohan needs a take on Hurricane Sandy. It's not that bad?
Well, on Twitter, she asks her followers, why is everyone in such a panic about hurricane, in brackets, I'm calling it Sally, ?
Interesting take. Let's give it a new name.
Then she said, stop projecting negativity, think positive, and pray for peace.
Wait. What does peace have to do with natural disasters?
It's unclear.
Maybe she didn't know what Hurricane Sandy was and she thought it was a civil war.
Maybe people were upset and angry about the hurricane and that annoyed her. She's like, calm the hell down.
Positivity people actually really hate it when negative things happen.
Yes, because she's like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm in my home in Dubai.
And it's dry.
And there ain't any wind. She later added #Hurricane Sassy. So she was still being intentionally...
I think she's trying to get a job in a newsroom.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do. You try and come up with a name like Bradgelina, Watergate, and she's like #Hurricane
She's like, I just
Sassy.
didn't like the name Sandy.
Okay.
So I'm calling her Sally or Sassy. In 2012, she wasn't having a good year. She did some weird things on the internet. Jessie, I'm going to get you to read a couple of these. Read that first one for me.
What the is Emma Stone?
Yeah, that was a tweet on its
so
own.
that is 2012.
Read the next one.
At One Direction, when are you in New York City next or LA? Want to do a track? At Nicki Minaj? Want to join? At Lady Gaga, you too?
Jess, they're all really busy. And I don't think that they want to collab.
She looks really quite aggressive towards One Direction.
Yeah.
And then this is the other issue. So want to do a track, Nicki Minaj. As a tweet on its own, it's not bad. What I struggle with is that Lady Gaga looks like an afterthought. If I was Lady Gaga, it's like, do you want to join me and Nicki?
And then it's like, you don't even have Nicki.
Who the f*** told bitches they was me now?
Or One Direction.
Oh, you and I.
You have
You're
no
just
collab.
Lindsay Lohan of Rumours fame asking for me to collab.
The interesting thing is this, because I saw that tweet and I was like, haha, so random. Jessie, she was really good friends with Lady Gaga and they would party together all the time. Their friendship's quite cute.
Oh.
It'd be...
So is this like me going at Joe Rogan, do you want a podcast together?
Mm-hmm.
At Claire Stevens, you too?
Yeah. Because you're my friend.
Yeah,
so it's
yeah,
probably
yeah.
going to be easy to get you. It's going to be harder to get One Direction.
Yes. So we pop that first, but then we go, Claire will be there too. And Joe Rogan's like,
No.
cool. Don't know either of you. cool.
You guys do it. I won't be there. But what is interesting is that I feel like Lady Gaga, throughout their friendship, probably avoided the possibility of a collab. I think that maybe
Kept not
Lindsay
replying
had
to
had
that
a few
message,
drinks
and she'd be
she's
like, no, we really should collaborate. You and me.
and Lady Gaga.
It's like Rumours meets like Poker Face. And Lady Gaga's like, I'm so busy with other things.
Jessie, here's another one. And you read it and then I'll explain it.
Can Chanel, that means it's in capitals, please help me out by getting me some stickers to put on my scram bracelet so that I can at least wear a chic dress? Maybe? Exclamation mark, question mark, X. Why do I feel like a scram bracelet is an incarceration trinket?
Close. It detects alcohol use.
Oh, they kept putting that on her. Yeah.
She had a lot of time with the scram bracelet.
Okay, so she wants to bedazzle,
Mm-hmm.
bejazzle,
She's like, if I'm going to be wearing this.
make a Chanel. Chanel doesn't make those, 'cause it's not for brand. Well, why is she's always yelling at people?
She's yelling at Chanel.
Chanel,
She didn't
make
even-
me a sticker to put on my alcohol bracelet so I can wear a chic dress.
She didn't
to
even-
the bar. No.
You're not allowed there. Apparently a scram bracelet went off when she was at an awards night.
Why?
I think she got near alcohol. Chanel's like, that's why. This is why.
This is terrible. Okay, should I read the next one?
Yes.
Sorry. Okay. A waitress just hit me, punched me for no reason. This is like her tweeting from Moscow. A mother just hit me, punched me for no reason.
Did you try and steal the waitress's child? But also, okay, my favourite thing about this chaotic energy is we've talked about the fact that in a lot of episodes, it's that fans have weird allegations about the celebrities.
Yeah.
They're like, Ellen DeGeneres chucked soup in my face and it was boiling hot and my life is over. Lindsay's like, no, I'm going to go the other way. A random waitress hit me and I'm going to set everyone against that waitress. Sweetie, nobody hit you.
You know when you see things on social that are like, my 6-month-old son just said, I love you, mummy. You're the best. And you're like, oh, that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
This didn't happen.
It didn't
I don't
happen.
I think she's at home with her scram bracelet.
She's like,
It's like, I'm bored as a
Actually, read this one now because I think that might actually go towards why she tweets something like that.
Oh, this is me on TikTok in 2023. But this is Lindsay Lohan on Twitter in 2013. I really want to get more followers, but I feel as if I don't tweet enough and I feel bad.
So I think that's why she was like, a waitress just hit me. No, they didn't. You just want more followers.
And then she followed up because she was like, I need to tweet more. Fun. Okay, this is again the PR person who was like, you need a hot take, you need to tweet more.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Got it. Fun at Coachella, but tonight at my friend's birthday party at Samantha Ronson spit in my face and left with Miley Cyrus's ex.
Drama. So Samantha Ronson is, of course, her ex, a DJ. She was with Samantha Ronson for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she just alleged she spat on her. On Twitter. No fact checking.
And then just to throw another bit of, this is again, it's the dramatic cousin that everyone has on social that's like, just when they go quiet, they post a picture of them in a hospital bed. Like, don't ask. It's like, oh, don't post it, bloke. Okay. To make this very clear, the bottom part of my finger was ripped off. It was not chopped or severed off. Full stop. Okay. If I had tweeted that and it only got 577 likes and I was Lindsay Lohan.
Why are you missing a finger? What happened?
It was ripped off, but not chopped or severed.
I think that if you looked up synonyms, they all mean the same thing.
Ripped.
Just
I don't know if you can. You can't rip off the bottom of a finger.
No.
I feel like the whole finger would come off.
The lack of context. Jesse, I need you to look at this one and please explain what you see.
I just see a picture of Taylor Swift.
Okay, go to the next. It's a video of Taylor Swift. Lindsay Lohan has commented. Please read Lindsay Lohan's comments.
On a video of Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm.
She's written, like the emoji with the love heart eyes. Yeah. We think you're great. You should respond to your fans. And then Lindsay Lohan has written, her last one just says, my mum was in Cats. Was she?
I think so. She was a rockette.
She was a rockette.
Yeah. So I believe that she was in Cats. I mean, I don't think Lindsay would lie about that. It's just a strange thing to tell Taylor Swift.
Well,
in a
maybe
comment.
if she did, then maybe she would respond.
My mum was in Cats.
If I was Lindsay Lohan, I'd be like, I'm Lindsay Lohan. I was in Mean Girls, not my mum was in Cats.
My mum. Oh, honey. I like how she demands that Taylor Swift should respond to her fans when it's like, you're not a normal fan. You're Lindsay Lohan.
You're a blue tick.
Jesse, this is the last one that actually screenshot by our producer Talissa in her own time years ago, and then she just remembered, and it just brought her a lot of joy to enter it into the courtroom.
Okay. What we've got is what looks like a picture. This is Teddy's photos is Ed Sheeran, right?
Correct.
And so he's just put a picture up. It's him talking to someone. It's got 1 million views. It's fabulous. Looks like it's a video. And then there's a comment just from Lindsay Lohan who's like, get it, ginger brother.
Lindsay, you need to calm. You need to calm.
Oh, so she's trying to make a little bit of solidarity between gingers. Get it, ginger brother. Apparently she has this to lots of gingers. They're all related.
She's like, I'm Queen Ginger. Except for when I dyed my hair black and also blonde. But
also red. But
I am red a lot of the time. It's quite supportive. She's
quite supportive.
Yeah. I mean, she does try to tear down people like Emma Stone by saying she doesn't know who she is. But she likes Ed Sheeran, which, as do I. Jessie, her recent Netflix movie. So Lindsay's had a few on and off projects over the year, okay? She's been employed. She did The Masked Singer Australia, for example. But
what was she like on that?
She did a little bit of dancing that reminded me of the Mykonos moment.
Yep.
She kept guessing.
I'm feeling some Usher right now. I'm going to lock in Joey Fatone from NSYNC. Aaron Carter. Did Bruno Mars work with Flo Rida? He's from Hawaii.
So it'd be somebody singing in a mask, in a costume, and she'd be like, oh my gosh, is that Elton John?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you don't understand how Australia works, because that isn't Elton John, but it may be Guy Sebastian if we're lucky. If we're lucky. We don't get, like, what? It's going to be
Todd McKenney.
And niche, it's Todd McKenney.
And that's always Todd McKenney. I don't know if he's been on it, but
that's a big celeb. It's going to be a niche Australian comedian.
I'm going to look up. So that was 2019 Masked Singer?
Yeah. The amount of Masked Singer reveals where the whole country went, who's that?
Imagine
being Lindsay Lohan. Oh, it's so sad.
Okay, so this was 2019. Lindsay Lohan is a judge. I am going to read out some of the people that she had to sit there and pretend to know.
She really thought they'd be Mariah Carey, Alicia Keys.
Okay.
No.
Here we go. Georgie Coughlin.
Oh, she's on the project sometimes.
Yep. She had to pretend that she knew who Wendell Saylor was.
Can you imagine that, Jessie? That's a sport that doesn't even exist in her country.
Oh my God.
It's Wendell. Oh my God, it's Wendell. No.
No, it's not. Or like she would have been like, oh my God, is that Harry Styles? Nah, it's Brett Lee.
Anyway, so she has had gigs, but I think her Netflix deal, so she's got a multi-movie deal, which it's called a multi-movie deal, but I think it's just 2.
Okay.
So she did Falling for Christmas in November last year. She's doing another one that's going to come out this year. It's set in Ireland.
Okay.
It's important. Did you watch Falling for Christmas?
No.
I did. It's entirely unoriginal.
When people look at me, all they see is the spoiled daughter of the hotel magnate.
I'm coming in hot.
I just want people to remember me for more than my last name.
But Christmas movies, in my mind, have a legal right to be terrible for reasons I cannot quite articulate. Something to do with carols and trees and snow means that no matter how little sense they make and how many smiling children beg for a Christmas miracle, they still feel deeply culturally necessary. This movie had this thing. It's this weird kind of modern Christmas movie idea of a child being like wanting a miracle, and then Santa's like a magician, like a genie who grants a wish. And I'm like, that's not how Christmas works.
No.
It's very, very odd. So Lindsay Lohan plays Sierra.
Did she look like Lindsay Lohan in it? Like, what did she look like?
Sure, she looked like Lindsay Lohan.
But like, what colour was her hair? And stuff?
Red.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did she have 3 fake tans or just the one?
No, she was actually quite probably
Fair.
close
Yeah,
to her
yeah,
natural colour. I did read that while she was filming The Canyons or whatever that movie was, that she was quite demanding about the kind of makeup. She wanted like really heavy makeup, and they were trying to say that doesn't really go with the film.
vibe of the...
And in this, I have to say, there were makeup looks and costume looks that didn't go.
Incoherent.
Yeah,
right.
that I think maybe they were Lindsay demanding things. So she plays this bratty heiress whose dad owns a fancy hotel somewhere in the snow. But there's another man who runs a very cheap ski lodge named Jake, and obviously he and Sierra are going to fall in love.
I like this premise. I actually think it's got a lot to offer.
Well, there is not a single original thing about this. It's
That's
actually
okay,
impressive.
Claire. Last time she tried to do original, she ended up with no arm, no leg, and a robotic leg that could be charged on the wall. All right? And that didn't go well.
So she played it safe. And what she did
Was put Christmas movie into AI,
into ChatGPT.
and say, spit me out a Christmas movie. And they said, here you go.
And what they did was that they actually copied almost scene for scene Overboard with Goldie Hawn,
Never seen it.
which is interesting. But when I did a recap of this and so many people were like, oh, weird, that's exactly. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It's not original. I never said that it was. Basically, she falls from a mountain. Jake rescues her.
So
but
she did almost lose.
She has amnesia.
Oh, that happened in I Know Who Killed Me. Also amnesia. So she's had practice.
She can't remember who she is or anything about herself, her life, all of that. And so the medical professionals do the only thing they can do in a situation like this, and they send her home with a stranger. Jake, the guy
Similar
who found her in the
to
snow.
50 First Dates. Everyone knows that's what they do.
Yeah, they just go, we don't really know what to do here. Hey, you want to take her home? She's vulnerable.
Sheriff, could you please tell her to let me out of here?
First, we need to figure out who you are.
What do you mean, who I am? My name is...
So what are we supposed to do with her?
I have a place.
She has to pick a new name for herself because she can't remember her name. And she chooses Sarah, which is deeply confusing because it is close, but not quite close enough to her actual name.
Sierra.
Her and Jake kind of fall in love, but they've got no chemistry. And he also makes her do work at the lodge, which is weird because I'm like, she almost died literally yesterday. And she's like this bratty heiress, but she can't remember that she's a bratty heiress. So she doesn't know how to do the washing machine or how to make her bed. And they're all making fun of her. And I'm like,
she has amnesia. So even if she did know how to do that prior,
actually,
she's got a brain injury.
And I'm also
that proves
like,
nothing about who she is.
Bitch needs to be in hospital. Like, she literally was unconscious in the snow yesterday. And she has such a severe brain injury.
She needs rest, like
that she
actually
can't
does.
remember anything.
Remember when I got a concussion when I was away and I was weird for a week?
Yeah, you do weird things and you got to keep an eye on people.
Yeah.
Eventually, she just suddenly remembers everything. And then she's like, wait, by remembering who I am, I've remembered who I really am.
What?
And she dumps her influencer fiance and ends up with Jake.
Okay, I know we barely know each other, and you're probably going to think I'm crazy for saying this. But I can't let you leave without telling you I'm falling in love with you.
I'm still confused about where Jake came from, but I love it. I do love it.
It's so bad, Jessie.
It sounds like I would enjoy it. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, and I remember I was sitting on the lounge with Mars pods and my dog asleep in my lap, and I went, why is this perfect?
Yeah.
Everything about this is perfect. So she's got another Netflix movie coming. Does she seem to have a career? Yes. That seems really
and we can be
positive
really happy
her.
for her for that reason.
Yes. So good on her. She's coming back. Jessie, it is time for charges and sentences. What we do in these episodes, for part 1, we didn't have charges and sentences.
No, we need to see all the evidence.
You can't just be going halfway, oh, I've got a charge. No, you got to have all the information. And putting
We're
everything...
nothing if not thorough.
Exactly. And synthesizing all the information, putting it all together. This is the common theme I have with Lindsay Lohan. And I just also like to preface this by saying, I understand she's had a tough time. She has some bad parents, actual addiction issues, very sad. Rehab. She has tried hard at her mental health.
Yep.
Putting all of that aside.
What do we find?
She has a tendency to just be not quite right.
Not quite right.
We've talked on this show before about NQR.
Not quite right.
We talked about it with 50 Shades of Grey. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So for context, NQR, not quite right, is when Jessie was writing her first book, a lot of the feedback was just 3 letters.
Yep. NQR.
NQR. And what it means is like, that ain't it.
And I don't have the time to explain why. It's the equivalent of kind of wincing.
Yeah. Just like, ugh.
Ooh.
She is a bit NQR. And she's been NQR for a long time.
Yeah.
And I mean that in terms of her career choices. I mean that in terms of mismooding, misvibing, just getting it wrong. I mean that in terms of her interactions and friendships with other celebrities. She doesn't seem to be able to get that right. And her social media behaviour.
Yeah. Yeah.
So because of that, my sentence is this. No more Christmas movies. We don't need Christmas movies from you. They're terrible.
I think they're paying the bills.
Perhaps. But what we need is a blockbuster big idea. We need something really massive for her to work on.
Okay.
And what I think she should work on is a Lindsay Lohan biopic. And I say that because...
Like Elvis?
Yeah.
Who plays her though?
She does.
Okay.
At all different ages. And her sister is also an actress. She can play herself.
Okay.
Little brother, not so sure. He can also play himself.
Okay.
Most of her friends can play themselves, given that they are actors. What I want from this biopic, you might remember that just before Falling for Christmas came out, she did this big profile. And the whole vibe was like, Lindsay Lohan's back. Let's hear everything she has to say. She said nothing. She gave nothing. She had nothing to say. She needs to give us something. She needs to tell us what happened in jail, because that is interesting.
That is interesting.
She dropped a tidbit in an interview about being in solitary confinement. I'm sorry, that's a scene. That's a scene.
She should tell us everyone she ever slept with.
No, more details
More
though.
detail.
Because
Yeah.
she flapped that around and then went, no, it's private. No, we're going to need scenes. And they can also star those people because they are all actors.
We need some kind of rating scale.
Yeah, that would be really nice. And then when she did community service and she worked in the morgue,
Yes.
great plot.
That's interesting.
Her life has a better plot than the films she's starring in. That's what I'm saying.
you're trying to say.
Yes.
Okay. A Lindsay Lohan biopic.
Overcoming adversity.
That's great.
Things going wrong.
Do you reckon there are actually 2 Lindsay Lohans?
It'll be a masterpiece of a film directed by Baz Luhrmann.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant, and we really get a feel and a taste, and we're like, oh
and
my
the
gosh.
twist is there were always 2.
Yeah, because it's like the media has been so cruel to her, and it's this really compelling story. In the last 5 minutes, we get a fictionalized thing that she's a twin, and then it goes full Parent Trap, and we go, Lindsay, it's NQR. It's not quite right. And that's what we charged you with in the first instance. But double jeopardy, can't get you twice. You've made the movie, you're fine. So basically, I need Lindsay Lohan, the biopic, Netflix, scrap the weird Irish movie.
Okay.
It's going to be very short-lived.
I have a charge, but since you've been speaking, I disagree with myself. That happens in court.
Yeah.
All right. I've got as a charge playing a swapped identical twin one too many times. Okay.
Which is twice. Interestingly, Armie Hammer only did it once.
And I need help workshopping my sentence.
Okay, as always.
Because my first thing related to the charge is Lindsay Lohan an identical twin? And what's happened with Parent Trap and I Know Who Killed Me is that they really fought to have both of them in the same film.
Oh, okay.
And every other time, there's been tension.
Unless she's an identical twin and that's why she's committed so many crimes.
Yeah. And her not turning up to court was actually a miscommunication because the other thought they were going to be
between
there.
her and the twin. Yeah. And that's why her acting performances are inconsistent and not good in movies where she's not playing a twin.
And you know what? The accent.
The accent, one's Russian.
She has an Arabic identical twin.
That's actually a really great point. The exception to that rule is Mean Girls because she was excellent in Mean Girls and didn't play
But
a
that
twin.
was just the one. This is how we got to the $40,000 fake tan bill. Because they were identical twins getting fake tans.
Two of them. They're two of them. They're not getting a tan every day. They're getting one every second day, which is still too much. Still too much.
There's 2 of them.
Yeah.
My other sentence was going to be about what I want is a hot take from Lindsay a day.
Okay.
Because
this is
like
the deal,
you couldn't
though.
manufacture a worse take.
This is the deal, though.
Yeah.
We get a take from Lindsay, but it is in a vacuum, and no one takes it seriously.
Maybe
It's
just
purely
for
for entertainment purposes.
I would love if listeners could leave us a review.
Yeah, that's just
with your Lindsay Lohan take of a news headline. I am just going to really enjoy it with 5 stars. But that is your review. Because it does confuse new listeners, and we love that.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Cancelled. For all the receipts, for the Mykonos dance, for the tweets, etc., go to the twins_thoughts on Instagram. We're also Cancelled Podcast on TikTok.
And to win your very own limited edition Lazy Girl stickers.
Lazy girl. She's a lazy girl.
Which Lindsay likes a sticker. She likes a Chanel sticker on her band.
On her alcohol brand. If you
need a sticker
want to bedazzle
to
your
decorate,
alcohol
or
band.
Say you have like an ankle monitor.
If you have an ankle monitor keeping you from leaving the home and you want something chic so that you can dress it up, you too might want a Lazy Girl sticker.
But the only way to get a Lazy Girl sticker, you can't buy them. God no. That's capitalism and we're not into that.
I actually reckon that being on house arrest is peak Lazy Girl behaviour. Great story if you've got one.
You're not even in prison. Didn't even go, I'm under house arrest. That'd be great.
What we want to hear is your best celebrity Lazy Girl story. So what's the story that you've heard about someone really famous? Ultimate lazy story. We want to hear it. Lazy girl, lazy boy, we don't mind. We don't discriminate.
If you love what we do here at Cancelled, please leave us a review. And the executive producer of Cancelled is Talissa Bazaz, with audio editing by Thom. And we'll be back next week.
Bye.
Bye.